Yesterday was a great day. We got a lot done, a lot of plumbing went in, a lot of lines and fittings went together. Cody got the QA1 installed. The new lower control arms, the new upper control arms, the coilovers itself. Super easy install, all new hardware. It went in, no modifications needed to the car. It's all powder coated, it's gonna last forever. We don't have to mess with it. The only thing we have to do now is wait for some knuckles and some brakes, and then we could set up our sway bar end links and all this other stuff. We got a ton of stuff done in the engine bay. Let me bring it down and show you. Angelo is pretty much finished with the oiling system. Angelo now is gonna start plumbing the intercooler system, which is from this box to the internal water to air intercooler inside the supercharger. We are waiting for the hydro boost to show up today so we could start plumbing that. We got the fuel pressure regulator, so that is the last piece of our fuel system. That's gonna go in today. It's gonna be an exciting day. More boxes being made, more lines being ran, more Cody putting on QA1 stuff. It's gonna be great.
Today's the day. We're gonna get it going right now.
This is what I'm gonna be making over the next couple hours. This is gonna be our catch cam. This bad boy is gonna mount on our supercharger, in between the supercharger and the firewall. I'm gonna go over to the plasma. We're gonna cut out our plates, do a little test fitting, bend them up on our homemade brake here, weld them together, put it on the car. So I'm just gonna cut the bottom piece out with some bends. This is basically gonna show me how it's gonna fit up. I don't wanna cut the whole piece out, because if I cut the whole thing out and it doesn't fit, then I wasted a huge chunk of material. Ooh. Okay, it fits, so I'm gonna go and cut the rest of it.
We're running the cooler lines for the transmission right now. There's gonna be an exhaust here, so we have to tuck the line up and then gonna make a heat shield and then put some heat barrier on top of that. You know, just these little precautions will save us a bunch of headaches later on. This is the fuel pressure sensor. Angelo is making the line as we speak. Once that line goes in, we are going to run a leak test. And wherever it leaks, we kick Angelo once. Stop! Which one? Yep.
Okay.
You're full. I don't see anything.
Just that one was loose.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Just the one?
Just that one that was loose.
You still lost.
That's a win in my book.
Angelo is making our new transmission mount. I am making a heat shield for the transmission lines. We got the heat shield here, little heat shield. We got transmission lines going right here, because the exhaust is gonna come down through the header, and then we're gonna run it right here. So basically those transmission lines would be right on the hot exhaust. And then here, this is going to be our drain for the dry sump tank. So we can just loosen that, and then all the oil will come out there in a really easy spot.
Our QA1 parts are coming down from the rack. We don't need to store them anymore because we got our rear end ready to go in the car, and it's back from J&S.
Stripped it down, hot tanked it, media blasted it, welded the tubes, 342 gears, Detroit Truetrac 30 spline axles, step your studs up to half 20s, so you're good to go. It's full of oil, ready to run.
Cool.
Step one, we're gonna get the rear end up on a jack, lower the car, get as high up as possible so we're not breaking our backs, and then we're gonna bolt things up little by little, not really tighten everything for now, because we want to wait till we get alignment on the car. Rear diff bushings are in. We did the hard way. Now we got to get the rear end up, hook it up to the coilovers, hook up the upper arms. After that, leave everything loose for the alignment guy and throw on the brakes. Is that lower now? Rear end's in. Now we're gonna lower it down. So
Well, no, he's got to do the transmission mount. Angelo is making the transmission mount. We were extremely careful about where that transmission mount lives because in the exhaust.
There you go.
putting on the rear sway bar. It's another part from QA1. It's really gonna stiffen up the rear end. Pretty sick, huh?
Kind of sick, yeah.
We got a little gappage, and this gappage is about the same on each side, which is why QA1 gives us these shims. So I'm gonna do one big shim, one little shim, and throw it on each side, make a match, torque them down. Should be pretty even.
Five days left before this thing's gotta hit the red carpet, and we're still getting parts.
What we get, boys?
Over the weekend, we did the battery box, which turned out to be a lot more work than anticipated. Ran the main power wire all the way up to the starter. All the little tiny things that take a whole bunch of time, that got finished. So we're all trying to get this car started for tomorrow. My brother's gonna come in and put a base map in the Holley ECU. So all the wiring has to be done. All the main power harnesses had to be done. Fortunately for us, this is a plug and play, but there's still wiring to do. So today, Angelo's finishing up the battery box. Grimm is making some brackets for the transmission. Cody's gonna be bolting on all the accessory drive stuff. More big stuff going in today. A lot of changes. We're trying to fire this up tomorrow.
All right, so we got everything laid out. This is our accessory drive. Thanks to Holley, they sell this whole entire kit. Everything you need, it's all from the US. I just got on the water pump, the thermostat housing. I'm gonna throw this on the car and start throwing more stuff at it.
Yeah, buddy.
Custom painted.
You know it.
Hot off the press.
I'm super excited to see these because, I mean, these are literally one-offs. I mean, we will offer these for sale in the future, but this is the first set of these. Up there.
That's a sick wheel.
Yeah,
I like the little windows in them.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
that's kind of like the characteristic feature of the TTF.
They're not out yet.
Not released yet. This is literally the first place that anybody's gonna see these.
Great work, Ron.
As you guys can see, Suppy and the team are doing an amazing job on the mechanics of the car. I mean, it is coming along tremendously. But what about the interior? Now, the stock seats right now, I mean, you're talking about a 37-year-old GM seat. And as you can see, they've got wear and tear, right? The back bolster's got a rip in it, so does the side and the lower bolster. Gabe, our buddy from Classic Industry, stopped by with some brand new Grand National seat covers. So we're gonna make these things refinished and we're gonna make them look like new again. But what I also wanna point out is this. If you look at the plastics on this thing, these are always cracked and brittle because, let's put it this way, back in the 1980s, the quality of GM's plastics weren't the best. So the fact that they're in this good a shape and we're gonna make these seats look like new again, I think Mike's gonna be blown away when he sees it.
This is the Holley Terminator X Max. So it's a little different from the regular Terminator because it has a transmission controller built in, and it can also do drive-by-wire. Drive-by-wire is simply an electronic throttle body with an electronic pedal. No more cable in between, so it's great because you can run all your idle functions in it. If you have AC, it will automatically crack the throttle body a little bit more open, so it won't stall if you have AC on. It's great, you know, technology. This is also great. This is the GDI controller, gas direct injection. What's different from a port injection is the injector is not upstream in the intake. The injector is actually into the combustion chamber. So you get a more efficient gas fuel delivery, cleaner burn. It's been a long day, definitely, and we did get a lot accomplished today. Wiring got almost situated. The accessory drive is on. Hydro boost is all in there. Grimm is making a box for the power steering. We're gonna fire up the first LT4 in a Grand National tomorrow. Quick little panel, it's done. What I did was 3 relays. This is our main relay, our intercooler pump, and our intercooler fan, and that is radiator fan. Now I just gotta do all the little hookups.
Okay, got all our 3D scan data. It came in great. Got the power steering reservoir all designed. It's gonna fit perfectly in our little space right above the power steering reservoir. So, gotta take all our little pieces, bend them up, and then we're gonna weld them together. So I've got the main structure of the power steering reservoir done. Gonna do a little more shaping on it, but that's how it's gonna sit. It's gonna sit just like that. Gonna finish welding it, gonna finish shaping it, and then we're also gonna paint it flat black, because flat black will give it like a much more factory finish.
We have our hooker swap manifolds. They're super tight up against the block. We're clearing the steering rack and we're clearing the lower control arm mount. Angelo's gonna bolt it up and then we're gonna start making the exhaust.
So it's finally time to throw some coolant in Killer Mike's Grind National. So what we did was we contacted our friends at Peak Performance, and what did they give us? North American Vehicle Coolant. Now, this is pre-mixed. You don't have to dilute it. Just pop the cap, put it in your radiator, and you're good to go.
We are hooking up the last bit, the hose, and then all our fluids are done. Angelo finished up the plumbing in the front. The headers are on. Chan is here, my brother. He does all of my computer stuff. He's here to look over the software. Gonna put a startup map in it, and we're gonna fire it up.
Is that full open?
Full?
Yep, full.
On a fresh engine, you always should prime it to try to get oil kind of running in the system a little bit. And you want to look at the crank signal and the cam signal. And when they do align, that's when it knows where TDC is for cylinder 1, and it'll fire, and it'll run.
Ready?
Yeah.
Chan came in, did his thing, and the car fired up. The only hiccup was, it was too much oil in it.
I spit it out, isn't it?
Yeah, aligns reverse.
That was a 2-hour debacle. We did a lot of prep work to get it to fire up. It's very gratifying that we didn't have any leaks other than the oil, and we're happy with it. Next episode, you're gonna see us get our brakes on, our driveline components, drive shaft, and a test drive. 3 days left. We're gonna try to get a little bit of sleep tonight and start fresh in the morning.